Ableton turn install file on one. I can't remember who was uploading that. Oh, yep, Josh. Yeah, it is still uploading, peeps. Sorry. Alright, here's the link. Spam chat when you get in. We got sound coming through. Let me just quickly check. Alright, the voice is coming through. Yep, we are good. Alright, I'm turning off in class. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Hayden. Alrighty then. 23 people of the 38. We're getting there. Alright, so let's do a quick recap of what went over, went down last week. So the first thing that we did was sample editing. So if you remember, I grabbed this beat here, this little breakbeat thing, and I held onto it. And then I pushed tab to go over to the arranger view, and I dropped it into its appropriate track. So there it is there. And if you remember, this is grayed out on this side. So it's not currently active. And we need to activate this arranger view. So remember, there was two ways to do this. We could do this per track. So I could go, hey, I want to enable on this side just this track, but that means anything else that's playing, e.g. this bongo, would keep playing over here. So the other way is to hit this one right at the top of all the plays, which just enables all of the tracks on this side. Then, now we're working over here, and if you remember, we also started cutting things, and the way we cut things was we would select what we wanted to cut and go Control E for edit. We could also just place our mouse somewhere and go Control E and it would cut there as well. So now we've got 3 sections. If you also remember, we could use all the shortcuts that we normally would when editing. So Control C or Command C, and then move to a section and go Control V. So we've got double kicks now, or triple kicks. But we could also do things, if you remember when we were doing like micro edits, is just go Control D to duplicate. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Cool. So then we get something like this. If you remember all of that lovely stuff. I'm going to delete that section. Let's just do this for now. Also, if you remembered, we went selected sections, and if we just wanted to loop this section, we could go Control L, and then there we go, we'll open this section. So there's a bit of a bounce there, isn't there? It's a bit swingy. It's somewhere in the middle there. Anyway, I might just get rid of that for now. And if you also remember, you could delete sections and just have, you know, silence. So, remember as well that once we finished our edits, that we could then select what we wanted to, that's including the silence, and if we wanted to consolidate it back into a single clip, we just go right-click, consolidate, keep it selected, right-click, consolidate. Or if you look at the key command, it's Control-J or Command-J on Mac. So, that becomes a clip. Great. So, once we wanted to take it back to the session view, we hold our mouse, again we hold onto the clip, hold our mouse button down, push tab to go back to the session view, and then we can place it wherever we needed to. Oh, actually I won't put it there. Let's put it here for now. So, I'm going to push play on this clip now. Great, but remember, it's when you consolidate, it automatically turns off the loop button. So I'm going to turn the loop button back on, and I'm going to fire it again. Great. So we are cruising. So the next thing, if you remember, we did was we looked at envelopes, and in particular, if you remember with this particular track, we had this, and remember we had this reverse crash coming in. And also we did automation over here. So if you remember, it was by showing the automation we had to use this little button here to show the envelope for this clip. So this is envelopes per clip, not per track, per clip. So we can see here we've got an auto filter, this one here, which is slowly changing the frequency. So the frequency is slowly going from, what's that, 115 hertz up to 6 kilohertz, 7 kilohertz, 6. And if we push Shift Tab and have a look, we can see it slowly opening up. So that's great. Oh, that thing's in the way, isn't it? Let me just hide that camera. Where is that cam? That camera there. And then the same was happening over here, but if you remember, there was this little dropout at the end where it would just play the reverse symbol, slowly build up, and then on the last beat of bar 8, it would cut out everything. So, what did I just do? I don't know. Are we still live? Yeah, we're good. So here it goes. It's slowly building up. And the filter's happening. And if you remember, let's wait for the drop first. Triggering the next section. Great. And if you also remember that what we did with these envelopes is we talked about where envelopes or clips loop compared to where they start. And remember the way we did this was by, let's go to, say, this, the bongos. Remember we have two things up here. We have this top one, which is where it'll loop. So we could say, hey, loop this section here. But then we had this little arrow underneath, which is where do you want to start. So if I fire this scene, note, it starts there, but it loops here. So I hope we all remember that. And again, if we trigger that clip again, it'll start here, but then loop here. So we can start to kind of come up with, I don't know, something. You know, we can mess around and come up with some interesting ideas. Not only can we do that to like a clip, we can also do that to an envelope, which we did. Meow. If you also remember, we talked about unlinking the envelope from the clip. So if we remember, so this sequence of these chords is only actually 2 bars long, but the envelope is sequenced over 4 bars and 1 beat. So we could unlink it with this little button here, if you remember that. And that's per automation. So there goes track volume. So remember the sequencing only happened over 2 bars, but the envelope is happening over 8 bars. You could duplicate the clips and have different loop and starting points to switch between. Yes, that is true. So that was everything that we covered last week. This week, let's talk about this clip quantization. So we've talked about it, this kind of global quantization, where it'll only trigger on the bar. So 2, 3, 4. How do you change from sample view to effects view? Shift tab. So to change between session view and arranger view is just tab. And then to change this one down here, it's shift tab between clip and then whatever's on the effect. Let's put an effect there so we can see. So that's the effect that's currently sitting on the bongos. Push shift tab, that's the actual clip view. So shift tab. Alright. So we've talked about this global quantization, that things will only trigger on the one of a bar. So I push it, and it just triggered. So, great. But what if we wanted to do kind of work outside of that that global quantization? Or even more so, if we thought about it like this. So here, I've got this 8-bar build. It's building over 8 bars. If you remember, we've got this big 8-bar build here. So what if I was doing like a solo through there, and I wanted this to auto-change to the next scene? So we can change what that global quantization is. But remember, this is globally, so this will apply everywhere. And the way we change it is this one here. So notice, it's on 1 bar. If I change it to, say, 8 bars, I'm going to push play. I'm going to trigger this next one. And note, it didn't just change. 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars. That's the 4th bar started. 5th bar just started. 6th bar just started. 7th. 8th. And we should change. So this is really handy. You know, if I was, doing a solo, I'll go over to the whirly, 1 second. If my hands are busy, what key am I in? No. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm away from my computer at the moment. I'm over here. Oh, I forgot to trigger it. Ha! But does that make sense? It means we can just kind of move away. It allows for that freedom to kind of trigger things and forget. I mean, we still have to come back to our computer at some point, obviously, to make other changes. But, as I said, this is globally. So no matter what, if I'm in this the intro, if I wanted to change to the next section, I've got to wait 8 bars. We're at 2nd bar, that's 3rd, 4th, 5th. This isn't so helpful. Because what if I realize, hey, the crowd's not vibing this intro and I need to change? So I think it's about to change now. So, I've been wondering this for ages, but didn't know how to ask. Yeah. So, I'm going to move this back to 1 bars. Oh, so, note as well, we could also have no quantization, which means whenever we trigger something, it'll happen at that time. So, push play. Wait, let me trigger this. Notice it just changed as soon as I clicked it. So it means we can spam it. This is going to be, I have heaps of latency because I've got wireless headphones. So there's, oh, it's so hot. But the problem is it means we can also fire the drums off time. Did I fire it on time? What just happened there? Ooh, wait, it freaked out. So, some people, I do have friends who kind of work in that mentality where they have no quantization, they fire it all themselves, which is cool. That might be your steez, but I'm going to put this back to 1 bar. Note all the divisions as well. So I'm going to put it back to 1 bar. How about clips within a track? So I think this is what I'm just about to talk about, Alex. 1 sec. So what if we wanted to do it? So, I want all the freedom to be able to change this whenever I want. I just change after 2 bars. And I get into it. And I'm just keen to keep playing forward. Go to the breakdown. But this one here is where I do want to apply that 8 bar, change in 8 bars. So we can do this per clip. So I'm going to go to this clip. This is the first clip that I want to play for 8 bars and then switch to the one below it. And the way we do this is by changing the launch mode. So down here we use this button to turn on the envelopes. If we look to the left of that, we have this little L for launch modes. And it opens up this tab here. So I will come back to this launch mode thing very soon, but look at the quantization. Currently it is locked to global. So I want to change that from global. Don't pay attention to this one here, the 1 bar. I want you to change after 8 bars. So if I push play on that. Oh, hold up. I do have to talk about the next thing. So this is working on 8 bars, but it requires the next thing on the list down here, which is known as a follow action. So when I fire this clip, I want it to have a follow action. I want it to move down. So if we look here, under follow actions, we have these 3 boxes with numbers in it. And if we remember from all of the 3 boxes, it is broken up into the first one. If we read this as well, the info view, it's bars, beats, and 16th notes. So let's say after 8 bars, I don't have to change that quantization actually. I'm going to go back to global, sorry. I'm going to do a follow action instead. Let's talk about follow actions. I'll come back to that one very soon, the quantization. So after 8 bars, I want to move. These are the actions that we have. We can say after 8 bars, stop that clip. After 8 bars, play that clip again. After 8 bars, move to the previous clip above it. Move to the clip below it. Move to the first clip on that line, on that row. Move to the last clip on that row, and then we'll talk about those very soon. So I obviously just want to go to the next clip. So let's not say 8. Let's say 2. Oh, let's say 4 for now. So let me just solo this. I'm going to push play. It's slowly building up its filter, if you remember. So 2 bars. 3, just started the 3rd. This is the last bar. And note, it's about to trigger this one. Now we're on this bar here, on this clip here. So I want to do this for the rest. I'm going to go here. I want to say, hey, after, let's change it to 8 bars. I'll change that one to 8 bars. I want this clip to, I want it to move down. Fire the clip below it. Same with Mongos, 8 clips, do the one below it. The crash, again, 8 bars, do below it. But the problem is, if we look at this one here, there is no clip to trigger that event to fire this one. So we need to do what's known as a ghost clip. And the best way to, well, easiest way to do this is to just copy the one that you want to trigger off. So this one here, I just copied that up into this row, but I'm going to turn it all the way down. Just the clip, I'm going to turn it all the way down. So now it is a silent clip, but that means I can also put in that follow action. So I'm going to fire this row. Oh, it's soloed. And note, these are already ready, blinking, ready to go after 8 bars. So 5th bar just started. 6th. 7th. Last bar. So we can start to do some really interesting things. We could, in theory, have this whole song play out on its own, but it means that we need all of the, like lots of ghost clips. I'm just going to rename that clip quickly just so we remember ghost clip. And I might even change color, which actually I'll talk about that soon. So it's really handy, especially if, you know, when you're busy, like, hey, I got to go over there and grab my guitar and then get ready to do a solo and da-da-da-da. You can start to have this automation ready to go, but it's not completely taking control away from you. It's just for a certain section, you know, it'll build or do whatever it needs to do while you walk away and do something. and then you can come back and take control of it and still change it however you want to change it. Obviously, while this is loading, 8 bars, you might be going over to get your guitar and you're like, yep, okay, I'm going to get ready to do the solo, and you're like, actually, no, wait, I don't want to. I want to break it down. So you take control again and go, I'm not ready yet, let's just get ready a bit more, and like, alright, let's try it this time. Now we're starting to do that build up. You're definitely ready to go. You know, so you can, if you want to, just take control back. But you'll know that once you fire these particular clips, that it will push down to, you know, it will have that follow action to move to the next clips. So, let's go back to class. Let's play around with that and I'll answer any questions you may have.